People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian, bro. Come on.
Because you always use that active red light defending. I think it's like. Because you always use that active red light defending. I think it's like. Because you always use that active red light defending. I think it's like.
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian, bro. Come on.
And with an introduction from me and right like that, what more is there to say excluding people deluded? I'm back again. Appreciate my regular viewers. Appreciative to everybody tuned in. Hope everyone's having a great week. Hope everyone's in good health and in all aspects of that, and your loved ones as well. Obviously, people, smash the like button. Make sure you've got your notification bell on and you're subscribing. We kick off in relation to sport in Lisbon against Arsenal at 5:45. I'll be doing a watch along from 4:45, people, an hour before kickoff. Wait, we going to talk about Spurs or are we going to mention Spurs, people? Obviously, another trophyless season. I mean, mathematically, they could still win the league. Not that they know much about that. Not Tottenham Hotspur with the power shift and proven winner Conte and their will to win and get 3 points and all of that jazz and the best ever players in the world and they had the best ever summer market and things like that. Not Tottenham Hotspur, my word. Some power shift this is. You know, we've been off the pace for about 7, 6 every years where you finished above us and you've done nothing. I mean, you think of Jose Mourinho, you think of winning. You think of Nuno Espirito Santo since he left Spurs, you think of winning. Shameless settings. You think of Conte, you think of winnings. You look at their CV, there's going to be a blank page next to the Spurs team. To be honest, at least Jose can say I got to a final. It's crazy, man. Lovely stuff, Tottenham Hotspur. Never ever change. Never ever change. Kulusevski, get out of there quickly. You know, get out of there quickly. Please get out of there quickly. Richarlison at the moment losing his head with the comments he's making. His head's gone. His head's gone. You see the haircuts my man's rocking all the time. His head's gone. You know, what a goal he scored at the World Cup. He's better than Jesus. Jesus hasn't played for us this year. And he's still got more goals. In fact, I shouldn't even mention strikers because although Lisandro Martinez, who got spanned like a Beyblade against Salah, he's got more Premier League goals than Richarlison. Benjamin White's found a goal before him. Tomiyasu might if he's not careful. Who else is there? Saliba and Co as well. Boy, slightly even Gabriel and that. It's crazy. It's crazy. You know, we were told they had the best summer. You know, I remember some of their fans sitting there and saying, this player gets in the Arsenal team, that player gets in the Arsenal team. Bro, at this moment in time, there's only, if that, a couple of players that could say they walk into the Arsenal team. Harry Kane, without a doubt, would start up front. You know, Son, we need someone to wipe Trossard's boots when he's done in training. So, Son, you can come do that. Kulusevski, you know, you could have started in the Europa League today in place of Saka. I'm a fan of Bentancur, but shamelessly not going to add him. I do like Romero. I definitely like Romero after the red card and whatnot. It's crazy out here, man. I don't want to hear nothing about Tottenham Hotspur when it comes to Arsenal. Again, I'll accept banter from whatever you have to say, from Man United, from Chelsea, from Liverpool, from City, people that have done things. If football ends today, people that have given things to football that are set in stone, Arsenal the same. What have Spurs given? You know, isn't there saying something to dare is to do? That man there don't know nothing, man. Shout out Chicken FC, though, man. Away from that. Richarlison's meaty, man. I don't know who's the bigger fool. Richarlison for thinking he's going to start joining Spurs ahead of Kulusevski, Son or Kane, or somehow, you know, Spurs for sanctioning spending 60 million on the lad. It's absolutely crazy. You know, Everton, apologies, zanged themselves with the signing of Richarlison, they managed to do something else. I mean, Richarlison, it's even a real footballer. He does play very well for Brazil, and then he plays for Brazil, smash the like button, he'll have my support. But in relation to Spurs, you're moving mad. Again, I did a video on Spurs going out, and to be honest, it looks like the end of the road for Conte. What I would say, away from banter where Spurs are concerned, you've had a proven winner in Conte, you've had Jose Mourinho, you've had Pochettino, who was taking them places. They say in life that the fish rots from the head. You have to ask questions of the ownership and things like that. He's more concerned with getting Beyonce and WizKid and boxing this and that. I promise you, soon Spurs, before Spurs win a trophy, they're gonna start having them YouTube fights at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Their stadium's quite lit, to be honest, and their training ground. But as Danny Rose said on Sky Sports today, if you've got the best house but no furniture in it, it's meaty, really and truly. No point having a trophy cabinet collecting dust. Shout out the cleaner, though, because the cleaner at Spurs got the easiest job just wiping that dust. Is Danjuma alive? Yeah, I mean, obviously, many more moons to him, but Danjuma, again, Bandulu signing. Kyrgios surely starts left back today. He can play left back, and that is an option. You know, we're gonna get into the preview of the game, and I'm not too sure I want to see that. I mean, if Arteta sees him in training, in fact, let's just get into it now, people. Let me make a timestamp. Give me a sec. Let's say, what was that, about 7:25? Yeah, obviously we heard he's a centre half. He's primarily arrived at the club to challenge and maybe one day take Gabriel's spot and give us depth in that position. We all know he spent a season basically playing in midfield in Italy. He can put in a shift at left back. If Mikel Arteta says he can play left back, then I'm with that. But for me, it's a centre half thing. You know, for me, obviously, we've got 2 games this week. We're coming off the back of, well, we're still in it. The games are coming thick and fast, and it's training really and truly. You know, going back to what we banter aside with Spurs, if Arsenal are in that position next season where we're in the Champions League, we need to overcome a deficit. We should be playing, and we've got a game on the Saturday or the Sunday. We should be playing the best team. So I do think there's a case for rotation, but I would prefer Kyrgios to play at centre half, really. I don't know. One thing I have liked this season is partnerships. And although Sporting Lisbon are 4th in their league, you know, their manager, Ruben, he's come out of the school of Jose Mourinho, plays a fantastic back three, plays some good football. They've got danger men. We've got to remember we are going to a difficult ground in Sporting Lisbon where they did beat Spurs. It is the knockout stage of this competition. We can't really just assume we're just going to rotate players and rock up. And I'm quite concerned on potential partnerships. If Kyrgios starts, you'd imagine Holding or Saliba, you know. Obviously, I'm not too sure on if, you know, their communication. You know, I don't know the level that Kyrgios is able to speak English. Obviously, football is universal, but you do need to talk, especially as a centre half. So I'm not too sure. For me, I'd probably put Tomiyasu at left back. Benjamin White would probably have to do a job at right back because there is no Kieran Tierney now as well. And then I'll go with I mean, you could play 2 left-sided centre backs, really. No one cries when it's 2 right-footers. You could go Gabriel and obviously Kyrgios, or you could go Saliba and obviously Kyrgios as well. Obviously, at the end of the day, Kyrgios played for his country in the World Cup and he's played in Italy. You know, he's not a random 17, 18-year-old, but it is going to be somewhat a baptism of fire, really. So I'm inclined to believe it's probably going to be Kyrgios. For me, probably, and I don't know if I actually did this on the graphic I'm going to get into, but probably Kyrgios, Holding, Tomiyasu, Benjamin White, give or take Ramsdale or Turner. Turner's unfortunate that he's got Ramsdale ahead of him. He is a good number 2. Potentially he could start. I'd be inclined to believe Turner starts. Midfield, I kind of want to keep it the same. Up front, what options do we have? Jesus has travelled, probably unlikely to play. We could go with no striker. We could go with obviously Martinelli up there and all of these things. And it's written in the stars. Former Spurs lad, Marcus Edwards, bags against Arsenal. The last time we bucked him in the Europa League, when he was at Victoria, I believe, he scored. So these are things to be concerned about. Holding will likely start, and I wouldn't trust Holding and Kyrgios as a centre-back pairing. Gabriel Saliba has to start alongside one. I share that trailer thought. We must make it to the final. I want us to take this cup seriously. Amen. You know, we went out the FA Cup. All right, people saying the priorities are domestically. We went out the League Cup. I want to bring the Europa League home. Obviously, where the league's concerned, if we do have a chance of winning that, not that I check the league table, I'm with that. Shout out you lot on Twitch as well, tuned in. Cooler Leave, bro. I heard you support Arsenal. You're more than welcome. Appreciate that. Morning, DG. Hope you're well. United and Arsenal bringing the proper European football tonight. But hey, I hope you lot hold another 7 wings and chips, really and truly. And shout out to you lot in the comment section. I'm surprised they got that far, to be honest. But hey, and to be honest, on top of Spurs just bottling, Conte's record is woeful in Europe, really. So yeah, I don't really care about Europa, but hope for the best. I hear that, but I hope for everything. You know, Arsenal have won European trophies. You know, in my lifetime, Europe is, in my 27 years, when I think of Arsenal in Europe, there has been some good moments. I did like the run in 2006 before, obviously, we played UEFA Lona. You know, there has obviously been some good games, beating Barcelona, beating Bayern Munich, but it's just been filled with pain. You know, Bayern Munich dealt with PSG last season. Well, last night, apologies. We all know the cricket scores they used to hit us with. We all know what happened the last time we got to Europa League final without talking about it. We all know what happened a couple of times we got to the knockout stages. I want the boys to remember Olympiacos purely because when you look at, and Villarreal to a degree, but Olympiacos, we didn't kill it in the first leg. You cannot underestimate Sporting Lisbon. They're not doing as good domestically as they could. They sit fourth. I think they're behind Braga, maybe Porto. I could be wrong in that regards, man. Sporting's team on paper is terrible. Should put the game out of sight today. Papers, I wouldn't say they're terrible. They definitely have some questionable players, but you know, the funny thing about football is this one out there on the pitch, really. So we underestimate them at our own risk, man. Really. And again, going back to that point about not caring about Europa League, if you're Real Madrid where you've won X amount of champs, I could understand that there not being any hunger. But Arsenal this season, we haven't achieved anything. We haven't achieved anything where, you know, our name is not etched next to Europa League, near the FA Cup, near the League Cup, near the actual league. We might be top of the table allegedly, but it's not done. We've got a young manager who, couple of these players have won things under him. English Super Cup, shameless thing. You know, FA Cup, the oldest competition in the world. You could argue that's bigger than the Champions League and whatnot. But on a serious note, anytime you've got a young project and a young bunch of players, winning's infectious. You know, everything Arteta is doing in training, demanding excellence, that is infectious and it's rubbing off on the fans, the players, etc. We need to be winning trophies. You know, I ain't seen these boys win European trophies, and I'm sure the players care. A football career is a long time. You know, let's assume you play at 20 and you're done at 35. That's 15 years, people. But before they know it, it's done, really. And all you're going to have, sure, you're going to have great memories and build up great relationships across the journey of football. But when you're talking to your grandkids and all of those things, you know, and you want to, and they want to see what you did in the game, medals. And I know it's very superficial as top six fans, but how many footballers actually win things as a professional footballer today? I don't know how many footballers are active in the top 5 leagues, people in the world. Let's just assume in the thousands. How many win things? So I don't think the boys will care about that necessarily, man. I don't understand. I don't care about Europa slant. We should be aiming for the double. Amen. Blood, I want us to take Europa seriously. We never won the tournament. Let's go for it, man. I haven't got the right to pick and choose what trophy to get. We ain't Real Madrid, Barca, or I ain't going to say another team. Not Harry Kane. To be fair, he's got all them individual ones. He needs to keep it moving if he's serious. No, bro, we try to win everything. We're not bougie. We ain't earned the right to say, oh, this and that and the other. Yeah, we've done our thing in the FA Cup. We're Arsenal. We do that, but we ain't rise up no Europa League trophy. You know, you look at someone like Jorginho, who's won the big ears, the one we're going to be in next season by God's grace, and obviously the Europa League. If anyone thinks that they're too bougie for this, he's going to sit there and say, forget all of that. You know, if Arteta adds a European trophy in his under his wing and under his CV, that's a further good look for the manager. Again, so it depends really. Smash the like button, keep your thoughts coming, etc., etc. The first thing I wanted to really discuss, people, getting my notes out in relation to this, is obviously, like you lot are saying, last round of 16. When you look at it from a statistical point of view, this will be the 5th meeting between the two sides in European competition. Arsenal are yet to lose or concede a goal in the previous 4. Let's continue that. Arsenal are unbeaten in 6 previous meetings with Portuguese opponents in the Europa League. We've won 3 and drawn 3, including eliminating Benfica in the knockout stages of 2020-21. Funny enough, I can't remember that game, you know, which was in the last 32. Sporting Lisbon have progressed from each of the previous 6 ties against English sides in the knockout stages of the UEFA Cup/Europa League, with all 6 coming against different sides. Arsenal have kept a clean sheet in 4 of their last 5 games in the UEFA Europa League, probably stronger than our clean sheet record in the league at the moment. Although each of the last 5 goals they have conceded in the competition have come in away games, which is today. So it goes part, obviously, superstition. But do you really want to play around with defensive options and things more than we're going to have to rotate? I'd hate to be Arteta in that regards because he's got a decision to make. Marcus Edwards, Paulinho and Arthur, all 3 decent players for Sporting that can ask us problems, all scored against Tottenham in the UEFA Champions League earlier this season. If any of them score against Arsenal, they'll become only the 2nd players to score against both Arsenal and Spurs in a single European campaign. You look at Al Arabi for Olympiacos, also did that. In their last, I think I've got 8 games. They beat Rio Ave 1-0. They lost 2-1 to Porto. They drew in the Europa League with Michelin before obviously winning 4-0 in the return leg. They won 3-2 against Chevs in their league, I guess. And they won 2-0 against Istori. In their last game against, I can't even say that, man, Portimonense, they won 1-0. So they got a decent run of results there, really and truly. And as I said, their manager, Ruben Amorim, I can't pronounce his name, very good gaffer. Like Arteta, he's young, he's innovative. I do think, despite the fact that they play three at their back, it is relatively attacking football at times. It is quite fluid. You see how Santos bombs forward. He's got the inverted thing going on with Marcus Edwards. They've got a good manager there. I do believe he'll be managing in the Premier League one day, and he did his apprenticeship under Jose Mourinho. They've got 1 loss in 5 in the league, I believe, people, and they sit 4th. Again, it's another low blocking theory for us to break down, and again, my questions would be, do we go strong or rotate? Win the first leg. Win the first leg in the first half of that, and then you can take off whoever you want at the Emirates in front of our home fans. Maybe, Kyrgios can get his first start at the Emirates. We've obviously got 2 big games this week. We don't have a striker at this moment in time. We don't have Kieran Tierney. There's been some rumors about Fabio Vieira. Is he going to be there? Is he not? I don't know, people. So we're going to have to see in that regards, people. So yeah, if I share my screen with you, obviously their shape is probably a lot more thingy like that. You've got the 3 in I can't remember the other one, but Marcus Edwards, Paulinho, and my man. You've got the fullback, sometimes even deploying wingers there, providing the width. And obviously, you've got a back 3 unit. They've got Quartes, a former Liverpool man. Get at him and ask questions. They do play a very good system, people, if I'm completely honest with you. Ignoring that. But then again, you look at the lineup. Who do we go with? What do we go with, people? Again, I was just stuck here early in the morning and just flirting between options. Do you go Turner, Kyrgios, Saliba? That is a naive centre-back partnership. I do believe in Kyrgios' abilities, even though I ain't seen him in an Arsenal shirt. I do like Saliba. I would feel a lot more comfortable with Gabriel there, really. I know Holding would be experienced, but it kind of goes out the window in his case. I think you've got to play Benjamin White because, for me, Tomiyasu's got to go left-back. I mean, for all we know, he could go Gabriel Saliba and play Kyrgios at left-back. I'm not too sure, but I would incline to believe Tomiyasu goes to the left-hand side. Benjamin White, we're going to need something from you today, innit, really and truly. In midfield, do you give Partey the legs the day off and save his legs? I think Xhaka will be there. Do you go Jorginho and Partey? Does Smith Rowe start? Has Nelson played his way into the lineup after, obviously, the dramatics at the weekend? I believe so in one case. Could Martinelli go up front? And obviously, I think you have to play Bukayo Saka. A couple of the first-team regulars are going to have to. We have not got the depth of Manchester City where we have, if they, for example, they didn't play whoever was playing on out wide, at fullback, they previously could have brought on Cancelo, and you've seen the wealth of options. And also another thing with City, when they make changes, you don't see the drop off necessarily. We're not at that level, so you take Saka out of there, you lose something. You take Saka and Benjamin White out of there, you lose something down that right hand side. You potentially, Zinchenko obviously could play as well, either in centre mid or at left back as well. And Tomiyasu could go right back, and Benjamin White could cool off. I don't know really. So there's some good questions to be asking ourselves. Then I tried to flirt again with options, people. And I'm still fixated on, once again, Zinchenko could go over there. But Tomiyasu, Benjamin White, Holding / Saliba and Gabriel. As much as I like Kyrgios, I want 3 points more. You might have to just wait a bit. Do you go with Fabio Vieira in the 10? Obviously, he's back in his homeland. He's a Porto man. Maybe that's written in the stars that he does a thing. Obviously, Jorginho, Partey and Xhaka, we haven't got wealth of options there. Don't think we're going to see Odegaard play in the 8 and any of these sort of things that Arteta could do. Does Smith Rowe get action, and does Smith Rowe play off the left-hand side? And Arteta always speaks about Smith Rowe's ability to play as a false 9. In the same way you've seen Jesus and Martinelli and Trossard prior to Trossard's injury, do you have Martinelli and Smith Rowe switching flanks? Does Nelson go on the right side and you drop Saka? I don't know. Does Smith Rowe go in the 10? Obviously, Martinelli through the middle, and you chop and change. There's some legitimate questions to be asking people. You can see another denomination there, and I don't even know how many did I do. I don't even think I got far with that. So it's legitimate questions. Jesus, he's travelled, but he's not going to be fit. Tierney has to start. Also, Smith Rowe, Vieira, and Nelson. Tierney's not there, so he isn't going to start, man. So I'm not too sure in that regards, really and truly. But like the comment said from Kay, I want us to take the Europa League very seriously. We can't afford not to, really. So it depends. Specifically, should we see what the gaffer has had to say? Where's his full press conference, man? It's better to just read all of that. On team news on the squad will be tomorrow. We have brought a few players, and you'll see who tomorrow is available. So maybe Arteta is keeping his cards close to his chest. When asked on if Nketiah and Trossard could be fit for the weekend, where we're going to need them, let's see how they evolve. Obviously, we have a few issues in the last few days. We are trying to accommodate everybody and get everybody in the best possible condition for tomorrow. On not having a separate league team and cup team, because we have one team and we have to play all the matches with the best possible players to win it. At this moment, we have made 8 changes in the competition, so we try to accommodate as well. Players have moments in the season where they are available or not available, and tomorrow it will be the same case. Smash the like button, people, and don't forget 4:30 we're watching this game together. But for sure, we will try to put the most competitive team together to win the game. On having players frustrated at not getting minutes, everyone should be frustrated. Everyone put their ego to the side and ask yourself, am I doing enough in training? Have I taken my chances? Am I doing everything? It's just them and they are winning games and they're better. I want players upset about not playing. Who wants happy players at this club? So when you get the opportunity, grab it. Like Benjamin White keeps saying, and anyone that will interview in post-game, players know if you don't do your job, there's players on the bench that have quality to play week in, week out. You know, only 11 players can go out there from the start. Make sure you've grabbed the shirt. And if you've grabbed the shirt, make sure you hold on to it. As we've seen, form, injuries, these things are flat factors and it's very volatile. But players have grabbed shirts. Other players have come into their own at other times, really, in that regard. So I want to see that. But anyways, he said everybody wants to play. It's true that we have wanted to rotate certain players, but they have been injured and unavailable. That may be the case again tomorrow. So once again, Mikel Arteta, where players' availability is concerned, he's playing very quiet and keeping his cards close to his chest. Sometimes it's difficult, but the players have to deserve to play the minutes. And being fair in football is very difficult. Bro, if life was fair, we'd all have a lot less. I don't even know if it's possible, but if we distributed the minutes fairly with these 16, 17, 18, 19 players, we might not be where we are in the league table. If life, rightly or wrongly, if life was fair, we'd all have a lot less. Make sure you're the one that playing. And we're not here to make friends. We're not here for everyone to get games. We're here to be the best we can as a football club, really and truly. So make sure you take your opportunities when given. So it's difficult and it shouldn't be something. You have to be really good at communicating your decisions and trying to get players to understand what they do. By the end of the day, you have to look at what's best for the team. We want everybody to feel important and we're going to try to make them feel like that. And also, Mikel Arteta has to win games or get 3 points, because if you don't, they're asking you questions and you may lose your job. And that goes for all managers. That's not isolated to him. On players struggling with illness, it appears that there might be a bug going on, because apparently Fabio Vieira had a sore throat, Tierney's ill. There must be something going around. To be fair, it was snowing yesterday, and the fact that it's snowing in March is a madness, really and truly, isn't it? But who knows? These things happen throughout the season. Sometimes they happen 4 days before a match. I remember Xhaka against Wolves. Did he not have an illness? We heard Jorginho had the illness earlier, like when we played Everton at home. So it might just be that time of the year. Sometimes it's 1 day before. We'll deal with that today and tomorrow, and everybody will be in the best possible condition to compete. On approaching this game differently now, we're in the title race. Arsenal in the title race. I don't look at the league table. I don't know. Our priority is the 2 competitions. Obviously, we have to earn the right to continue in this competition to get as far as we want. And tomorrow, we're going to face a really difficult opponent. The best way to prepare for any competition is to win the previous match and having the confidence and proper emotion to approach the next game. Tomorrow, if we play well and we are able to win the game, that will better prepare us for the next game. Amen. On rumors of Real Madrid having an interest in him, managers or players cannot control what is written. What I can tell you is that I'm fully focused on what I'm doing here. I'm extremely happy, proud, and grateful to be at this football club. Yeah, but it must be a good stroke on the ego, really and truly. It's lit, On his confidence in Martinelli stepping up to be our main striker. We have different options. We have different qualities and different profiles to play in that position. Obviously, with the absence of Eddie, especially, and Leao, we'll have to see and adapt in relation to what our opponent will do. And with the relations we have on the pitch, what is the best thing to do? I just have this funny feeling we're going to do false 9 business with Smith Rowe. On reuniting with Hector Bellerin, who I absolutely love the person and player. He was a really important player for our club, one who left something beyond just his career, but as a person at our football club. It'd be great to see him tomorrow, and I'm sure the boys and staff will be happy to see him. Boy, if I'm Martinelli, Smith Rowe, Reece Nelson, anyone who plays left wing, you better be happy to see Hector Bellerin. I want to see his man bun flying everywhere, absolutely collapse him, absolutely twist him up. You really and truly, simple as that. We're not here to make friends. Have a laugh and a joke after the game. On resisting the temptation to rush Gabriel Jesus back, we will not rush him back. We will try and make a fair assessment between what he needs and when he's comfortable, as well as give the team a boost that they will need in the next few weeks. Everything is going well. He needs time to get himself that confident, get himself that confidence and physical state to compete with a free mind. And when he's able to do that, we'll throw him in. Fair enough, man. We are going to do this. I hope so. Got a feeling Jesus will be on the bench. Would love it. We need to make a big statement with a big result today. I believe we have players on the fringe like Smith Rowe and Nelson that are going to want to prove themselves again. Everyone has to prove themselves, man. Even Bukayo Saka, because the only way is down. You're starting week in, week out, getting a big contract, got the number 7. You've got a target on your back. You know, when you get to the pinnacle of the mountain, the only way is down, really. So keep doing what you're doing. You're right in that regards. Nice to know we're not going to rush him back. He needs time to get himself that confidence and physical state to compete with a free mind. And when he is free to do that, we'll throw him in. On how Tierney has dealt with not playing. Very good, because we discussed the situation and we had a similar position. He knows his role under me. He has played a lot, probably more than any other player, including the previous players that were at the club during the past 3 years. He understands the situation and he needs to challenge the situation. And that means give Arteta a headache. Make Arteta say, you know what, fair enough, Zinchenko does this false centre mid thing, but Tierney is playing so well, I'll go with a traditional left back. And maybe, you know, I want to throw Zinchenko in midfield. Go and give the manager complications. I'm sure the manager throughout the season, has wished that we could play 12, 13 players, because someone has to miss out, really and truly. But it's nice to see he's had a conversation with Tierney about the situation. I do think Tierney will look to seek pastures new next season, but I don't know Tierney, but I don't have him down as someone that's just going to start sulking and things like that. He'll put his ego to the side. On players' versatility, helping them gain selections when rotating. Well, obviously, naturally, that's going to help. We have to, because we have certain players where we don't know if they'll last 60, 70 or 90 minutes. I think he's indirectly speaking about Smith Rowe there. We have to be really good at, and also someone like Nelson that's barely played, significant minutes, could see obviously hamstring pulls and all these sort of things. We have to be really good at maintaining the quality and the balance in the team, as well as the threat to be as competitive as we can for 95 or 96 minutes the game is going to last. On Smith Rowe, he said he's fine. He's trained really well and was extremely happy the team won last weekend, and on to the next one. On if Fabio is okay for tomorrow, which is obviously today, he is okay. On if he's tapped into Fabio's knowledge of Sporting Lisbon. For sure, that was the first thing that we did, because it's great to have knowledge and understanding of someone from the country who knows the manager and has international teammates. It's always very useful, and he talked really highly on their tactical flexibility, which again, flexibility, playing at home. Do I necessarily want to rock up with an overly rotated side? I'd leave you lot to draw that conclusion. The variety, spice of life, options, and the changing formations that they can do. And within that shape as well, the profile of players, especially the wing backs, change their behaviors. We know that. And until we have the lineups, we'll have a few question marks as we try to understand what they will do. Fullbacks, fluid system. I just see playing the strongest back five you can in relation to the fullbacks, the centre halves, and the goalie. Good decisions to make, man, really. So really interesting. And finally, he said, on the togetherness of the squad, together always helps, but to win tomorrow, we will have to be at our best and play really well, compete really well, understand the game and manage the game really well. Here it is easy, but we have to do it on the pitch tomorrow night. Fair enough, Gaffer. I don't think there's anything else that could be said. Martinelli has been speaking, people, about, you know, the game as well. Specifically, our young man has said, I just kept working hard. I always tried to do my best on and off the field. That's what I did. Jesus is a great guy and a great player. I've said it many times. For me, he is one of the best in the world. He's going to help us a lot over the next few months. You know, Martinelli then went on and said, if you play for Arsenal, you need to go into any competition to win. That's our mentality. It's Sporting tomorrow, and we're going there to win. I love the supporters, and I hope they love me as well. I always try to do my best and make them happy. Arsenal have been kind enough to speak about the Sporting game from a preview point of view. Let's see what's going on. A raft of departures throughout the season, the man said system, has meant that manager Ruben Amorim has been trying to rebuild a former championship winning side while still trying to compete domestically and on the European stage. But understandably, things have been tricky. A poor start saw them with just one win in their first 4 league games, and they currently sit in fourth place behind runaway leaders and city rivals Benfica, as well as Porto and Braga. They have won 6 of their last 7 league games to build up some momentum. So they're full of confidence, just like us, with their last defeat coming in January's League Cup final to Porto. Their European form has been more promising. They beat Spurs and Eintracht Frankfurt in their opening 2 Champions League games. Big up to everyone that was part of my Champions League watch-alongs, because I remember that group between Marseille, Frankfurt, Sporting, and the other team. It's like no one really wanted to advance. Everyone could have went in and out. And obviously you saw Spurs disgrace themselves yesterday. But is it really disgrace or just common behaviour? It's the history of the Tottenham, like Cellini said. But only scraped into the Europa League in the last minute of the final group stage game after results elsewhere went their way. After that reprieve, Sporting knocked out Midtjylland to set up this clash after an impressive 4-0 second leg win in Denmark, people. We've already seen what Mikel has said. If we listen to the Sporting gaffer, he said, we know Arsenal style well. We know the spirit that the team has. Our team has improved since the beginning of the season. We live a good moment. We are prepared for the best. I don't know what this I means. Thought there was something else, but he said beating a team like Arsenal shows us that anything is possible. We will go in another way for following games. Now we have to start well against Arsenal, and I want to win. I don't know if it's the best moment to play against Arsenal, but it's a really good moment. We have a plan. We want to win. We are excited and we are prepared, people. Jesus is back in training, as you can see here. Trossard and Eddie Nketiah, once again, for those of you in the back, smash the like button, people. Will not be playing. They're missing the game. Obviously, El Nene is done for, people, at this moment in time. Sporting have virtually a fit squad to select from, with only long-term ACL victim Daniel Bragacia sidelined, although key midfielder Manuel Ugarte, who's quite a tenacious midfielder at times and decent technically, will be missing through suspension after picking up too many bookings this campaign. My English is bad, but I know that's meant to be 2 with 2 O's. I mean, I can't lie, big up Arsenal, but half the time we read these press conferences, there's just way too much grammar and spelling mistakes, and I just about passed English. But yeah, Amorim rested 5 of his players during Saturday's 1-0 win with, you can see them all there. Trincão's obviously there as well. Didn't work out for him at Barcelona rules, but is a tricky customer. And Arsenal away will be making bare noise, but they're playing at home, and they've kind of turned their season around. Once again, we're unbeaten in our previous 6 meetings with Portuguese opponents in the Europa League. We have kept a clean sheet in 4 of our last 5 games in the Europa League, although each of the last 5 goals we have conceded in the competition have come in away games, which is today better than where we are domestically, really. Marcus Edwards, Paulinho, and Arthur all scored against Tottenham earlier this season. If any of them score against us, they'll become only the second player, as it said there, to score against both North London sides in a single European campaign, after El Arabi did such in 2019-20 for Olympiacos. Sporting's 27 UEFA fixtures against English clubs have yielded 10 wins and 11 defeats, 8 of those victories coming at home, including a 2-0 success against Tottenham on, again, match day 2 of the Champions League. So we're going to need to be on it, people. We have played Sporting on their own patch twice. The first came in 1969-70 season, where we drew 0-0 during our successful Fairs Cup run. And then in 2018, a Danny Welbeck strike saw us claim a 1-0 victory during the Europa League group stage, people. That was the only time we have left Portugal with a victory, having drawn 3 and lost 3 of our last 6 trips there. We were defeated 3-1 by Sporting Lisbon's rivals Benfica in the European Cup in 1990-91, before we faced Porto in 3 out of the 4 straight seasons in the late 2000s, claiming a goalless draw before its successive 2-0 and 2-1 defeats. In 2010, we lost to Braga before winning at whatever stadium. That is 8 years later. I think that's Sporting, actually. Our most recent encounter in the country was a 1-1 draw against Victoria in the 1920 Europa League group stages, when we were denied victory via a last-minute equalizer. So we're going to have to be on it, people. We're going to have to be on it, really and truly, in that regards. We've seen all of this. Wait, seeing this, what has Arteta said there? Have we missed this? I think we have seen that. So yeah, big up the gaffer, man. Smash the like button, people. We are under pressure to win, says the Sporting gaffer, people. Exactly what he said. This run of 3 victories is nothing special for a big club, but for us, it becomes more important due to the moment we're in. Now we want to start another sequence. The preparation for this game was carried out with the utmost care, which they were afforded to rest players. We wasn't, with a lot of observation and tactical work for obviously the previous opponents they've played, who we know can play in many ways and have a lot of variety in terms of their players. We prepared the game very well and worked on dead balls very well. Arsenal have struggled recently from set pieces. Is that something to be wary of? You know, the devils are in the details. This is what their manager is saying, people. Very well. To be competent in that facet of the game, it was normal preparation for an important game in our season, and we want to maintain this winning streak. Shout out yourself, live from Planet X. We have to win against Sporting, then only we stand a chance against Fulham in the Premier League because we'll have good morale. I mean, if one victory means we think we're the best in the world or we're a good team, and one defeat, regardless, think if it fluctuates in a negative way, then we need to get our heads sorted out, really. You know, if we win, great. If we lose, get back on it, turn it around next week, but then focus on Fulham away, really. Jesus is definitely going to be on the bench. Cheeky 10-minute cameo. Brian, I hope so, man. Hardest working Gooner out there. Big up, DG. Appreciate you lot, man. Agent Bellerin is going to want to see Arsenal win. No, in our luck, he'll rock up and actually look like a decent right back again. Hopefully he remembers who gave him his opportunity, though, man. So, yeah, I hope he is class, really and truly. 38 likes. You lot violating. Twitch gang, one love. Keep it going. We are under pressure to win from the beginning because we always have to win, even when we are top of the table. Now we are below that, and it gives us extra pressure to win and perhaps even more anxiety to win quickly. So they're under pressure to win. They're playing at home. They're in a good moment. There's no easy games. I'm not saying Arsenal are taking it easy, but can't just rock up and assume we're going to win with a rotated team. I do think some Arsenal fans are behaving like, respectfully, we've drawn Oxford in the FA Cup early rounds or in the League Cup. This is the last 16 of a big European competition. I have to cap a bit on that. You know, we're going to have to. It's going to be a big game. It's important because even if we do our job, if others don't lose points, we don't get to those places. This is yet another moment in which we have to win, as we did in other games, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, man. He sounds like he's up for this, people. You know, 5 days ago they said they're under pressure to win. So that football club is not going to rock up here and allow. Well, we're not going to rock up to their place and allow them to. You know, they're not going to let us move to them like that. So it's going to be a big game. What has he also said? That was 5 days ago. Apparently, he's made his feelings clear about Arsenal, people. Arsenal are out of this world. They are first in the Premier League, which in essence is the Super League everyone keeps talking about. But is it impossible to win? I don't think so. I want my players to believe. It takes a lot of luck. But as we've been so unlucky this season, it may be that luck is all saved for these games. Now the focus is on beating whoever. That was in the build-up. So we're going to see. One of their defenders has been very complimentary in our players. You know, let's just air all of that for my players. But one of their players has been complimentary. He said they have a lot of quality and they proved that weekly at the highest level. So it's going to be an exciting challenge. I think the players and staff see this as a great game to play. They are top of the Premier League. Don't check the league table. I didn't know that. And we want to test ourselves against the very best. We are expecting an Arsenal team who wants to win, wants to press with quality on the ball. We're expecting a dynamic Arsenal. And I think it'll be a good game for the neutrals. I don't think it'll be an easy game at all. So we'll have to see, people, in relation to the game. We'll look at what's going on in terms of just Arsenal talking points on Google and the papers and all of that things in just a second, people. Let me just make a timestamp. That is Arsenal versus Sporting preview. Shout out you lot. What are you lot's thoughts? Doesn't have to necessarily be related to this game. No more Tottenham slander. Yeah, I think Cesc Fabregas has been speaking about Arsenal as well. You got to let that go, man. You got to let that go, my brother. You got to let that go, man. We'll see what that's saying. Martinelli's confirmed Saka will remain at Arsenal. See what that is saying. Shout out to Fabio Vieira. See what this is saying. See what that is saying. Let me just get these in order now. Fair enough. See, you know, I might as well see what Cesc is saying. Not that anybody necessarily cares. Fair enough. Not even technical difficulties, people. Just getting it all sorted. Let's see exactly what that is being said there. Keep your thoughts coming, people. Most neutral football fans in the world want to see Arsenal do well. Only a few Prem teams rivals are hating. MK, I hear that, and I don't think you're on, but if I'm honest, fuck all of that, man. I don't care what anyone thinks, bro. Arsenal, let's just do our thing. I don't care who wants us to win, who wants us to fail. Like, bro, we don't need no external support. You see how Arsenal fans are moving at home and away. Cesc Fabregas is my guy, but bro, I don't like. You gotta hold that, man. You still went Chelsea, still went Barca. Cesc was my guy, you know. Who set up Henry's iconic goal at the Bernabeu? I remember watching that game with my own eyes. Who bullied Vieira at Highbury? Who's the reason Vieira left this club? Because he couldn't work with Cesc, and a certain Gilberto Silva could. Cesc Fabregas is one of the best players to have ever done it in his kind of position in that, and one of the best players we've had at this football club. It's nice to see, to a degree, that the wounds have kind of healed. after him going Chelsea. You know, on a shameless one, I can say he won the Prem and that. Cesc was our guy. Cesc, boy, I got so much love for Cesc Fabregas. You know, AC Milan comes to mind when I think of Cesc as well. Cesc was on anything. You know, didn't he bad up Lampard or John Terry, one of them in the final we lost? Arsenal have kept a clean sheet in 4 of their last 5 games in Europa, but the last 5 are conceded in away games. Boy, if you're a punter, that could be stuff. We need to make a few changes today, not wholesome changes. I'm bringing in Tierney, Jorginho, Vieira, Smith Rowe, and Nelson. I don't think you'll have much joy bringing in Tierney, because although he would have probably loved to play, and this was probably one where he could play significant minutes, he's been kept at home because he's under the weather. Guessing Trossard and Tierney aren't travelling. Arteta said, well, the report said they're not travelling, innit? So that one there is a myth. We're going to have to just get on with it. I remember when some Arsenal fans, including myself, we tried to run the Cesc is better than Modric thing. Obviously, Modric cheated the game a bit and went Real Madrid and just became lit. But Cesc is lit. I think Cec's problem is he had the Rooney thing in that, you know, you look at them two and then you look at Benzema, and to be honest, not of the same hemisphere of them, but James Milner, because James Milner started playing 16, 17. Them lot peaked very early. And by the time they're, you know, late 30s or the mid 30s or whenever it was, they're kind of done out here. Cesc is wherever he is. Rooney's done. Benzema's the only one really still doing his thing, really. Predictions. I think it'd be a closer game than given credit for. You know, in an ideal world, 3-4-0 Arsenal, really. Anything from 2-0 to 4-0. I'd love to see some early goals. I would love to see us put this game to bed in the first half so that people can be rested for the weekend. And obviously, in an ideal world, we win today. Early, as I just said, we do our business. We do our business at Fulham. Then potentially, if it's a cricket score, I'm not saying rotate fully, but Kyrgios could make his first Emirates appearance. You know, from the jump, other players might be able to get game time. And I could be wrong, but after Fulham at home, is it not Crystal Palace 2-1 Arsenal? I don't want to concede, but I could see it happening. Blessings from Brumtown DG. Just wanted to say I appreciate all your content, Paul. I appreciate you, mate, and everyone else tuned in. I hope Kyrgios gets some minutes. He's a baller, and I hope giving our back to some competition will help stop silly errors. I hear that as well. But what I would say is, in the same way when we're scoring goals, yes, typically Jesus has 5 goals. Odegaard's doing well in that. Martinelli and Saka have goals, and Eddie's chipped in with a couple. And you know, there's been some other examples. But in the same way, while these guys are the ones that scored the goals, and it's a, you know, when you look at it, it's a sequence 9 times out of 10. Several players are involved with us scoring. You go and look at Benjamin White. Benjamin White scored at the weekend, but that was a great team move. Partey forced the issue. He found Nelson. Nelson teed him in. In the same way, that's in an attacking sense. Our first attacker is our striker. Our first defender, is our striker. And collectively, we have not defended well enough quite frequently, if I'm completely honest. You know, fair enough, it should have been ruled out, but we went to sleep for Bournemouth's first goal, which they've done that on a couple of occasions. We did score from a set piece. We've also conceded yet again from a set piece. I would more say at home we're a bit, if I was kind of putting Arsenal under the microscope, at home I feel our standards defensively have somewhat dropped, if I'm honest, with the exception of Villa, which was an emotional game sort of thing. You know, again, VAR should have ruled out the Brentford one, but again, sequences. And you are going to concede goals. Every goal is potentially avoidable. I'd say the goal I'm most unhappy about, excluding, you know, Gabriel's against Fulham, Tomiyasu's against City, would actually be the penalty that Spurs got at the Emirates, purely because, with, you know, if you remember rightly, Saka's tried to do a thing kind of almost identical to a degree to how Ramsdale had to make that save in the 19th minute when Bournemouth in our last game in the Prem kind of just sprung us and went forward. But if you remember rightly, Saka's tried to dribble. Saka's not done anything wrong necessarily, but Saka's tried to dribble. Bentacle's picked his pocket. Son and Kane, at one point, we've got 7 players in midfield. They have 2. Somehow that's gone from their half to the middle of the park to obviously our goal. And then there's several series of errors, and then the penalty has happened. So it's a sequence, man. Ramsdale's our first attacker, or we wouldn't care about a goalkeeper being able to play with his feet out from the back. Our first defender is Eddie, Martinelli, Trossard, Jesus, whoever is spearheading that. And you could extend that to Odegaard as well, because he helps a lot defensively. He might not be a defender, but where you see where he ranks for half of them, you know, the pressing stats and all of that sort of jazz, he does his thing. So it's a collective unit and a cohesive unit. But if I had to microscope Arsenal, I think we need to get better to defend, get better at defending once again, man. We're an improved defensive side. I wouldn't necessarily say we're a good defensive side. Shout yourself, V. Hello, DG. Personally, would love Smith Rowe settling well in this game. I'd love him to start, but then I go back to Mikel Arteta's post-game Bournemouth comments. Bearing in mind, Smith Rowe, obviously, he's been out for a hot minute now. He's had 1-2 exposures to minutes. He came on and then came off against Bournemouth, got some minutes against, 45 minutes against Chelsea's under 21s. When I remove it, I do think actually Smith Rowe will play. I just have this funny feeling that we're going to go Smith Rowe false 9 sort of thing. But Arteta kept saying, you know what, he's been out for 5 months. We didn't know if he could play that amount of minutes. So maybe Smith Rowe might have to chill from the bench and then come on, really. I'd love him to start, though. Tomiyasu isn't good, in my opinion. I've definitely rating Tomiyasu a lot less, but nah, he's a good player. Suspicious Goon, man. You're living up to that name there, man. Big up Tomiyasu. That's my guy, man. I've wanted a decent squad player, and he's shown his versatility. He can be a right back, can play left back, can play centre half. Tomiyasu's thing might just be, I'm a squad player. You might not be the guy now at this moment in time. You was it last year. You can't forget that, but you just might not be the guy. Tierney is ill, so he can't play, bro. The team that plays tonight should be good enough to compete and get a result. Should be good enough to compete and get a result. Frank, you said it there in the last line. That's exactly what needs to happen today, regardless of who goes out there. I haven't watched Sporting play much, but they don't strike me as a team that will play a low block. They concede a lot during the group stages. We need to get onto them. As I always say, a back three is as defensive or as offensive as you make it. And they've got a very good fluid system, and their fans will be behind them. They love these dramatic sort of games similar to us. So I'm expecting, I don't want it, but I'm kind of overselling it, but somewhat of a nail-biting affair, really. I think Arsenal fans, you know, our heart rates were messed after Villa away. Boy, I don't know where we're at now with the Bournemouth game. So I would say in a nice way, Arsenal, can we be boring? Less entertaining for the neutrals, you know. I'm sure a lot of you, like myself, you've been drawing out Manchester United fans after holding the 7 wings and chips against Liverpool. Spurs went out. You know how the game goes. Everybody wants Arsenal to have their day. You know, you saw the content creators and all the journalists and stuff when we held at Everton happy. They've been waiting all season. Arsenal going to crumble. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. They might be right. Right now, they're wrong. They're waiting for it. Don't give them the opportunity, man. Don't give them the opportunity. Tomiyasu isn't good enough. Constantly injured. And when he's fit, he can't start at right back. Even though we have a centre-back there currently, he's way too mistake prone and inconsistent. Bit harsh. That wasn't said last season. And Benjamin White played centre half last season. They're both versatile. You know, I think they're very different players, but almost the same. You know, and you say Benjamin White isn't a right back. While I think his future still relies at centre half, my guy, I think respectively you're wrong. Where was Benjamin White playing on loan at Newport, at Leeds, at Brighton in their back three? He's done it before, and he can do it. I do hear you with the injury proneness, but then a good byproductism and not relying on him. Tomiyasu have his day. Again, you can't go on the past, but no one was saying that about Tomiyasu last year. He has looked quite crap, if I'm honest with you, against Bournemouth, and obviously against City, he's going to have to hold that, but he's still the guy. You know, a big reason as to why we got 3 points at against Liverpool at the Emirates was the job he did against Mohamed Salah. Ask Lisandro Martinez how difficult that is. Not everyone can do it. You man are acting really and truly, man. Tomiyasu, I'm starting to believe Tomiyasu's future at this football club is probably at centre half now, really. But he's a utility man. For years, we've been crying for versatile players that can come in and do a job, really. Allow it, man. People need to lay off Tomiyasu. Even Ben White himself, he's the best. Said he's the best defender at the club. You know how it is. They criticize you. People were saying sell Smith Rowe a few weeks ago. Football fans always onto them. Not a big fan of Ben White, but he is country miles ahead of Tomiyasu. In terms of what I think Mikel Arteta demands right now, yeah, I don't necessarily think Benjamin White is a better 1v1 defender than Tomiyasu and all of these things, or better at marking and all of these sort of things. I think Benjamin's great at right back. He fits the system more. The relationship he's got with Bukayo Saka is 10 times better than Tomiyasu. He's probably too conservative. Keep every opinion coming. Everyone's allowed one. Think both Benjamin and Tomiyasu are centre backs naturally. I think not that you don't have to focus at right back. I think Benjamin White, you know, I don't think he necessarily thinks like a defender straight away. I think he wants to get on the ball and get involved. And I think at centre half, at Arsenal, obviously playing a low block, a high line, and 9 times out of 10 against a low block, you're going to see plenty of the ball. But I think he's allowed to gallop forward, and he probably looks a lot more comfortable there, really, even though he's put in a shift, man. But yeah, fully prisoners of the moment. Tomiyasu is amazing at passing and getting the ball back. I wouldn't say amazing at passes. These men need to understand we are Arsenal Football Club. The standard must be to win, no matter the lineup. Where's the comment gone? No matter the lineup, man, them need to stand up and beat Sporting. Amen. Hit the likes, everyone. Everyone's opinion is welcome. Appreciate you, Jamino, regardless. Players dip in form. It happens. To be talking crazy about your players so quickly is a madness. No, everyone's allowed their opinion. I mean, Tomiyasu just got to remind people of his quality. Damn, they're harsher than me. White wasn't the greatest centre back. Plus, he ain't had that much game time. It is what it is, man. Really, Tomiyasu, you don't become a good or bad player overnight. What I would say is you haven't taken your opportunities. Go out and take them when they're provided, man. But Tomiyasu will be back, man. I've got a lot of time for Tomiyasu. I wouldn't sell him. I think you're a good squad player. There are little occasional games where we need someone to do a man marking job. I do think in terms of the natural art of defending, I think he's Arsenal's best defender, actual defending. And I think he gives us a lot aerial as well. Not really seen that because we've been on the front foot in games, but 9 times out of 10 last season, where teams were trying to run down the pitch and they were just trying to knock it into the channels, Tomiyasu just winning the first header kind of gave us a lot of respite. Right now, time waits for no one. Tierney, Tomiyasu are now victims of us getting better and the system getting better and us being on the front foot more and requiring a bit more. Nothing with that. And people forget, I know he doesn't look it, and the way he behaves, he's very mature. Tomiyasu's kind of young as well, I don't think I can't lie to you. I don't think there's too much in it between Tomiyasu and Benjamin White. There must be a year's difference. What Tomiyasu's 25 this year, he's 24. He must have been 24 for about 30 years. Tomiyasu, I don't believe that one day. I can't lie. Benjamin White's 25, so they're same ages, really. And they complement each other different. Not that I want people to drop off in form, but just generally for you lot to humour you lot and keep the discussion going. If Benjamin White loses his form and Tomiyasu comes in and does great, is what it is. Players go through good and bad moments. And especially when you've got a young squad, it's unrealistic to expect someone from August to May to be doing the business 9 times out of 10. Even Saka and Smith Rowe, they carried this club last season. But they had a bit of a drop-off. And you look at it now, you put things into perspective. Saka is developing right and great. He had a great season, but he got 11 in the league last year. What's he on 9-10 already? Boy. Every now and again, the Wolves are, Martinelli, everything Martinelli's done has been gold. Then every now and again, the Wolves are out for him. It gets just the other day, even Thomas Partey was a victim of a lot of criticism at Arsenal Football Club. And did he get back? El Nene the same. My point being is not to praise or critique these players or saying anyone's right or wrong. If you do the business, it happens, really. If you play rubbish, you get question marks. If you play good, you get praise. What I would say with Tomiyasu, you've looked shaky. Not so much defensively against Bournemouth. And I know you're a conservative fullback, but you didn't bring nothing against Bournemouth to the table. City, you didn't take your chance. I'm starting to believe Tomiyasu is one of them players, a bit like Tierney with Tierney's FA Cup start against City. You need a run of games. You're one of them. I don't know if you lot of them players that can just, even though he did it against Liverpool, that can just come in and do well. Obviously, if you want to get a run of games, you need to earn the right to a run of games. So, leave that innit? You can't have 26 perfect players. Tomiyasu is a very good squad player. He's versatile and happy to be here. That's hard to find. It's funny, our team isn't really young like that anymore. They're getting older. I watched Savic in their Europa League tie, and I think we can do better. He's a goal threat from range, but he isn't that much mobile than Xhaka and is suspect defensively. The youngest side to ever do this, I don't remember Invincibles, but this team is going to make history. Right, you don't remember Invincibles? Never dropped off the top of the table other than those few hours when we had games in hand. I don't know about winning the league. I don't know about any of that. I don't check the league table. I would say I'm happy with what my players are doing at this moment in time. Long may it continue, man. And if we're doing this youngster thing to a degree, youth doesn't really become a thing anymore, per se, to sound like an absolute hypocrite. Saka being young is a bit irrelevant to me, for example, because obviously we remember that, but you're doing the business and you're wearing the number 7 and you're getting 200k a week and you're showing me stuff. So I have to ask questions. Ramsdale, at times, in my opinion, shows his age as a goalie with his moments of madness, even though he's a quality goalie. But it becomes irrelevant. If we're doing this youngster thing, then I can't, at every moment when we win, over leverage the fact that we're young. And when we lose, that's the first thing I'll point to. Whether you're 19 or 35, for example, if you're a centre-back and you're not aware of your surroundings and you dilly-dally, you're going to get finessed. Really. I just hope we come a lot more street smart. Exactly. I don't care if people agree or disagree with me, as long as they're not getting abusive over it. None of that on our channel, mate, or our platform. How you doing, DG? Have you done your predicted lineup? Yeah, I have, Yeah, I have. But if I had to do it again to humor you, Ramsdale... Turner deserves to start. But then again, if you mess the 2 defenders about and you change the partnership there, should you really change the goalie? If you mess around with the whole back 5, you're kind of killing defensively, and we're going to need to be spot on defensively, really, and from set pieces. And I think Turner's done well, and he just unlucky Ramsdale's ahead of him. So Ramsdale, Hmm. Hmm. Could Benjamin White play and Tomiyasu right back? It's a good question. You know what? Ramsdale, Zinchenko, Tomiyasu, Kirio Holding is what I think it could be. Even though no disrespect to Kirio, I'd rather the two main centre backs play, and then we'll bring people off if need be. Midfield: Granit Xhaka, Partey, Fabio Vieira, Saka on the right, Martinelli up front, Nelson off the left. I'm starting to not believe Smith Rowe will start, but at the same time, something's just telling me we're going to play a false nine with Smith Rowe starting. Start Kirio, yes and no. If you're part of this thing, come and start. And there's never a good time to make your debut, I guess. But it's a bit of a baptism of fire, don't you think? I predicted Turner as goalkeeper. Is that Marcus brother fit? It looks like such. Do you go for the Europa and the league, or just focus on the league? I don't know where we can focus on the league until it's mathematically confirmed Arsenal are in the Champions League next season, or that for you lot, I don't check the league table, that we've won the league. You need to focus on both. If we want to be a team that goes into the Champs, goes into the Prem, goes into the FA Cup, goes into the League Cup, need to be able to challenge on all fronts. I wasn't happy, as I haven't been since we've won the FA Cup at Arsenal under Mikel Arteta, because I think collectively we've zanged ourselves, really. Yeah, we rotated the team against City and we did well. We equipped ourselves. Ake scored in that, if I can remember correctly, but I can't really, that's nothing really. Pep's going to play his strongest team. Arteta didn't. We didn't go. We went out. League Cup, not that deep for me. Could have went through. Would have been more of an opportunity to play games. Who doesn't want to win everything? I got Gabriel and Holding as centre-back and Jorginho and Kirio as centre-mid. Oh, yeah, Jorginho. If Jorginho starts, then I think Partey and Xhaka starts, Partey on the bench, and then Jorginho. I don't think it will be Jorginho and Partey. I was 6 years old when the Invincibles did it. This is the team I relate with. Fair enough, man. Big up DG, great show. Could Tommy play both sides, either half, and White and Zinni play a half each? That's an angle. It could be that. That's a shout. Arteta's going to have to rotate because you'd imagine maybe not all of them, but maybe Odegaard, Saka, Benjamin White, Granit Xhaka, Gabriel / Saliba. And maybe some other names I haven't said. You're going to have to rotate them. Some are going to play 30. Some are going to play 60. Some are going to play the whole 90. Because obviously, when you start putting it into perspective now, again, I'm not a professional footballer, but we flew over to Portugal yesterday. We're going to play this game. The players are going to have to shower, eat, recover, all of that stuff, warm down, all of them things there. We probably fly back to Portugal tonight. I can't imagine why we would stay there until Friday. I don't know. We might, but just my guess. We come back tonight in stupid o'clock. The boys might have the days off. The boys that didn't start or didn't play significant minutes will probably train. The rest will do a light training session / a recovery. Saturday is back to normal. And then obviously we have to go to the hotel and make the short trip to South London to play Fulham. So it's one of them. Kirio and Turner, I reckon. But then again, anyone who's played football, you lot know this already. Football is universal. I don't know Kirio's... listen, I'm not one of them dons, but I don't know Kirio's level of English, and I don't know if Matt Turner, Gabriel, them man can speak Polish, and I don't know if Kirio can speak Portuguese or whatever is required. I only mention that because a big part of football is communication. What did you hear Rashford say in his post, not even the post game Liverpool game, in the preview of United's Betis's game? He said communication wasn't there. It's a big part of communication. If you're away from home as well, especially, you need to be able to talk, drop off, play it to the left hand side, etc. So now if if you play Matt Turner, if you play Kirio, if you slap in Holding, Tomiyasu comes in or whoever plays left back, it's rotation, it's versatility on paper. We should be able to still be competitive, but you kill the communication and then you literally make it harder to defend and go from back to front. So I'm not too sure. Gabriel Jesus has flown, but I don't know if that's a training thing. You're just trying to get more fit or if you'll be on the bench. For the first time since the Invincibles, we have 5 amazing defenders and they'll hopefully get up to 8 clear years to improve. Don't think that it's probably unlikely that in the next 8 years, very few of these current Arsenal players will probably be there. But I'd love it to be the case. Pack one love and whatnot. But yeah, go for both, man. What has Arsenal achieved? We're doing well this season, but we ain't achieved nothing to be saying we can do this and do that. Get your hands on some sort of trophies. It's infectious. Mikel Arteta, I'm sure you want more trophies. Martinelli and Saka, I'm sure you want more trophies. Because you're going to look back at your career and it goes deeper than just trophies and things like that. Well, I'm not sure Harry Kane cares about that. But get your hands on something. DG, do you think Jorginho can help us to get more Italian players in the side? Saul Barella is available for 70 million euros and he'd be perfect. I mean, yeah, no. I mean, obviously, if I was Barella, you know, if Inter say they're going to sell you and you've decided you want to sign for Arsenal, you're going to speak to, you're going to, obviously, your agent is going to try and see what they're saying for the contracts and all of that jazz. Once the framework around the contract has obviously been sorted out and whatnot, you're going to speak to Edu. Why are you there? You know, Arsenal want you, what Arsenal are trying to do as a club, etc. You're going to have a similar conversation about Arteta. What is your plans for the teams collectively? What are your plans in the next 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, whatever? How do you plan on using me? Then after that, you know, you might get on the phone to Jorginho and all the other Italian brothers that have played in Italy, played in England, sorry, and say, you know, what's the life like at Arsenal? What's the coaching staff like? What's the players like? They're a good bunch of lads. What's it like living in London? What's driving like? What schools can I send my kids to and do all of these things with? Then you might ask Jorginho, okay, what's going on? So that's probably just going to be the last sort of thing. It does help, but probably going to be the last sort of thing, in my opinion, that you kind of lean onto. I wouldn't say in essence he could help us, but even with Pepe, you know, did he not help us get Gabriel? Best piece of, you know, best assist Pepe's ever given us right now. Really, I'm being harsh because Pepe's got some good moments at Arsenal. Sporting are a team that got grouped in the Champions League by Frankfurt and Spurs. They're a good side, but still one that we should be beating. I agree. We need to take a good lead back to the Emirates in the return leg next Thursday. Even when Jesus was injured, I don't think he missed the game. I'm not surprised he's flying out. He's always trying to bring his influence to the dressing room. And that's what you need. You know, that's a big reason, rightly or wrongly, why we're holding on to El Nene. When Jorginho signed, you heard Thiago Silva saying it's a big loss off the field. When you read between the lines, Odegaard says he brings a lot of character. You know, you've got Xhaka, who we've seen in documentaries. We've got characters in it. And that's what you need. You look at the Invincibles. Yeah, someone might have been wearing the captain's armband, but who is the captain? You look at any good side that's achieved anything. I don't want to praise them. And Man United fans, you know what? I'm going to put your minds to rest after losing 7-0. But you look at when they had Roy Keane, Rio, Vidic, this guy, that guy, the third. You can't pick a captain. A captain is just a good reflection, but there should be 11 captains and however many is on the bench. We need at most 6 more wins to secure top 4. We still have a long way to go, one step at a time, and keep challenging on both fronts. Amen. In an ideal world, it's a cricket score. It's 2-3, 4. Well, no, 2-0's a lie. It's 3-4-5. If we could get that, bring off the players that are going to play against Fulham. The return leg, obviously, you have to give credit to Sporting and respect them and play a strong team, but Smith Rowe could get a start. Nelson could get another start. Kirill could make his full home debut. Sporting is good enough to get a result tonight. If we make too many changes, some people seem to be disregarding them, and they're going to learn. We've seen that on several occasions. You're amen in that. Love for the cheer team. Shout the Twitch gang. One love for that, man. That means a lot. Thank you very much for that. I can't lie, Gabriel Jesus looked ready in them training vids, but we still probably have to see how his knee reacts with another full week of training. I'm sure Gabriel Jesus, if you asked him, he wants to play, but sometimes I think you need to save players from themselves. You know, that's what annoys me when they say players don't care. Players play with injuries all the time. There's no point Jesus coming back if he's now out for 3 weeks. Come back when you're ready. And I do like when Arteta has done that with when Jacques had an injury a couple of years ago, definitely where Tomiyasu and Tierney are concerned, Thomas Partey, and obviously Gabriel Jesus. Fabio starts today. Potentially, in my opinion, I don't think Odegaard will. And he's fitter than Smith Rowe at this moment in time. So you'd imagine so. You'd imagine so. Sporting Arsenal talking points. Sorry, people. Talking points. So yeah, see, let's make that a timestamp. See, if you're watching this on the replay, see, I care about you, look. I know them other content creators don't give a crap about you. I'll make sure you lot can just watch what you need to watch. 68 likes, people. Nowhere near 100. Come on, man. There's over 100 of you tuned in. Early kickoff. We can fly back tonight. Yes. Again, completely forgot. 5:45. You are right in that regard. So, yeah, early kickoff. We're going to be nice in that regard. And then, obviously, that would mean we've got the 8 p.m. next week. And Arteta keeps talking about recovery times. What's that? 48 to 72 hours to then rock up and play Fulham, who are overperforming, are doing well. You know, every team probably fears Arsenal in a healthy way because of how we're playing, but everyone wants to be that guy to knock us out, really and truly. Just like Everton did a few weeks ago. Today, Jesus come, I hope so. Fabio is apparently ill, though he travelled with the squad, so may not start. That's another point. So, you know, that could be a boost to Smith Rowe. Obviously, we're a bit up against it. on paper there ain't a striker there, and maybe where the 10s are concerned, excluding Odegaard, that could actually mean Odegaard starts today. Who knows? That is massive for us. And apparently Fulham are not going to have Paulinho, but we've not had players, our strongest players, and got results. We've lost the teams that have been missing stronger players. So I don't want to read into that. Let's just do what we need to do. We'll beat Fulham, I hope so, but we need to focus on Sporting today. Fabio has been woeful in the last games, but I also think that he'll start. Hopefully his Arsenal career turns a corner. I had to offer an apology to Fabio Vieira. When I watched the game with you lot during the watch-along, I didn't think that he really took his chance against Bournemouth. I thought it was a 4 out of 10. When I watched the game again, I thought it was more of a 5. I think he had some good actions, but man, I'm not remembering it's the Fabio Vieira show. And for the squad players, you've got to be able to do that. Smith Rowe can walk away with an assist. Obviously, Tomiyasu didn't take his chance, but Smith Rowe can walk away with an assist. Nelson's obviously the poster boy of Arsenal versus Bournemouth as well. Time for Fabio to show up. Former Porto player, so it'll be a very rude welcome for him out there. Exactly. And I'm keen to, obviously, it's not 11 Portuguese players from Sporting, but where our Portuguese speakers are concerned, Gabriel, Martinelli, Fabio Vieira, potentially Gabriel Jesus, and anyone else I'm missing out. What's the banter going to be like? Because if you're a Portuguese defender, surely you're going to be saying 1-2 mad things in Portuguese. Same way if we played in Ukraine where Zinchenko's concerned or whatever. Fulham midfield is nothing without Paulinho. A bit harsh, you know. We still, regardless, Arsenal need to go into the mentality that Fulham are naming the strongest team. All I would say is Cedric Suarez, remember you're alone at Arsenal. And I saw you was on the bench in the last game. Another Portuguese fullback that swapped one bench for another, you know, like Cancelo. Start leaking some team news to the group chat. Start sending Arteta some stuff. Earn your 100 bags a week is what I would say. Earn your keep, man. Earn your keep because you're still contracted until 2024. Yeah. Woeful is harsh. I think he needs more time to flourish in that position. To be fair, I know he's obviously, I mean, Fabio Vieira, forgive me if I'm wrong. I'm sure he came off. Did he start against Wolves? I think he came off the bench because I just think he came off. Xhaka was ill. That, obviously, banger against Brentford. There's been a little flutters where he showed his quality. I kind of judge him from January till now because he's barely playing. Rightly so, because the team's doing the job. Obviously, he was injured for a hot minute. New country, new tactics, physically need to improve, culture shock and all of that jazz. I'm not saying he's ever going to be the guy for Arsenal, but I kind of judge him on January till now. From now till May, well, from January till May, you got to show me something. Next season, you get another opportunity. Jorginho speaks Portuguese as well. There you have it. You know, isn't he Brazilian as much as he features for Italy at international level? I mean, it's dating it, Jorginho and that. So, yeah, it is what it is in that regard. Let's look at what some talking points are saying in the world of football. Smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't, people, etc., etc., etc. Where should we start? Let's start here, people, actually. Allegedly, I don't know who this is, but it's probably the same outlet, I believe, that initially I saw the news broke through with signing Kyrgios. Apparently, Kyrgios signed from Spezia in January, will make his Arsenal debut against Sporting Lisbon in the Europa League tomorrow. That could mean he's starting. Could he be starting in midfield, left back, or centre half? Could that be on the bench? It doesn't specify anything, but would be nice to see our new January signing, almost a forgotten man. In a sense, yes, we all know what this means. Come on, Chiellini, better yet. Come on. I don't know about them chickens down the lane. Let's go and see what Seth Fabregas has said. Arsene was hurt by how I left. Just him. I was vexed that them Barcelona players were putting the Barca shirt on you when you was one of our guys. I want to see specifically on what Seth has said. He's opened up on his departure from Arsenal and Wenger turned down the chance to re-sign him. Now, that's contrasting from when Wenger said by the time we was aware he was going to Chelsea, it was done already. So we'll never know, man. Wise words from a legend, man. Kyrgios passing is amazing. The old sweeper role isn't really a thing these days. But if you watch this game for the under-21s, you can see how he could free up Benny Blanco and Zinni. I hear that, my guy. But what I would say is I expected you to be good at football in that regards, in ball playing and stuff, because that's what we want at our team. And you're not going to play for Arsenal if you're on some shenanigans. But for what it's worth, Seth said, I really wanted to go back to the Premier League. In the contract, when I signed for Barcelona, we said that after I leave, Arsenal will have the first option. They had a week to respond. So obviously we approached Arsenal. We said, hey, listen, I'm leaving Barcelona. And by law, you have a week to decide if you want to take me back or not. For a week, I couldn't talk to anyone else. We noticed Arsene, everyone. So after a week, we called Arsene and he said he thought about it. And he said they already had a lot of players in my position, like Ozil, Cazorla, Wilshere and Aaron Ramsey. He said to fit me in, he would have to play someone out of position, and this could create, I think also he was a little bit hurt by how I left and everything. Of course, man, big up Wenger for holding the grudge, but I would have loved to have seen Cesc back at the Emirates. I had a few options, and one of them was Chelsea, which worked out for you. I spoke to Mourinho. I met him. He told me things that were very nice to hear. He wanted me to be the leader of that team. It just felt right. And you saw what I believe at the time Diego Costa and Cesc did for them and won them a title. And, it was amazing. He then went on to say, I always said that it was the most difficult decision. In my heart, it was the easiest decision in a way because of what I had in my past, because I was always a supporter and it was my dream to play for Barcelona's first team since I was a child. But it was really hard because Arsenal gave me so much. I felt so loved by the whole club, by the fans, the trust that they had given me from a very, very young age. It was super, super hard for me to have to go to Arsenal, to the guy that gave me everything, to actually say, please, I want to go back home. If it wasn't Barcelona, for sure, I would have stayed at Arsenal no matter what. Fair enough. And then he said, I think timing is also important in football. Looking back now, probably I should have waited a little bit more until Xavi faded a little bit more and just go there and take over his place, because of the frustration of so many years of not winning at Arsenal and the feeling that sometimes the club was not going through the line or making really good signings to be super competitive in the Champions and Premier League. Hopefully we've learned our lessons there. I just felt I was draining myself because I was giving so much and playing 60 games a season and never resting. Emotionally, it just affected me a lot. And then seeing everybody winning in Barcelona and playing so beautifully, and Pep calling and texting me, I want to do this, I want to play 3-4-3, to play all of you together, blah, blah, blah. Everything together got the best out of me. I just decided it was the next step for me. He, in brackets, Guardiola, was a really big influence because he was my idol when I was very young. I wear the number 4 because of him. I played in his position when I was in the academy of Barcelona. So it was a big influence for me. And when your idol, your hero calls you and then you see what beautiful football they're playing, and there's so many friends of yours playing there. But yeah, he was very important, of course. The biggest regret of my career was also not being able to win the Champions League final in 2006. We were so close. Well, your future employers at the time started cheating, really and truly. UEFA Lona and that. The first ever or the only Champions League final that Arsenal has ever played, and I was only 18 and we were so close. Also, not lifting a trophy as an Arsenal captain was something that will always be in my heart because I gave so much. I exhausted myself so much. I hope Arsene Wenger knows what I gave for the club emotionally and physically in terms of everything. I feel sometimes it's just because not lifting anything, it can feel a little bit like, oh yeah, he was really good, but nothing happened. Inside of you, it gives a little bit of sadness, in a way, regrets, not because I didn't give my all, which I did, and I think I overdid, but yeah, not lifting a trophy, an important one, because obviously the FA Cup, a trophy is a trophy and it's great, but making it to the next level, you need to win a major trophy. Amen, man. He then went on to say, in relation to if we can win the title this year, yes, I really hope so, because I feel a bit identified with this group of players, with the Odegaards, the Sakas, the Martinellis, the Smith Rowes. I can see myself in their eyes. I was at the training ground recently and I saw them, and they're super good kids, humble, they want to work hard. There's a lot of chemistry between them, and we really had that. It's just once we were getting into April, March, it was always at that moment where we couldn't keep up because of injuries. There you have it. Big up Olivier Giroud. He's admitted he relished playing a part in Tottenham's demise, people. I'm sure Chelsea and Arsenal fans are rejoicing, but our former striker said it was a great atmosphere, and we saw the Tifosi from Milan. It was amazing. It's always great to feel that kind of night, a Champions League night. At almost 37 years old, I always take a lot of pleasure to enjoy this kind of night. For me, it was a special night. I wish I could score, but as long as we go through, it is the most important thing for me. Big up you, man. We've already seen that says Fabregas thing. Romano questions whether Arsenal will be pursuing Osimhen in the summer. He said, I don't have it confirmed as of now. Arsenal have Gabriel Jesus and Ketia Balogun, and Osimhen's price tag will be really huge. I think Arsenal have different priorities for this summer, including a new midfielder. Once again, apparently Declan Rice is a key target of Arsenal and he's keen to join us. So that's what that is saying. 90 minutes said Jota could be available, people. Would you lot take him at Arsenal? Apparently, a 62 million fee, not for 62 million. And he just forever injured at Liverpool as well. But we've seen firsthand what he does to Arsenal. I wouldn't be necessarily for it. I wouldn't necessarily be hella against it, people. Just random, but Gabriel Jesus in the Premier League before the World Cup break, he had the most touches in the opposition box, the second most take-ons attempted, second most duels won second most fouls, had fourth most shots on target. So he'll be a welcome return at the Emirates. I'm sure everyone will agree. I don't care about that. We've heard that already. Don't know why there's so many think pieces. Martinelli confirmed Saka will remain at Arsenal and sign a new contract. I'm not too sure that's what the man said, but let's see exactly what he said. I will be really happy because he's a very, very good player, one of the best young players in the world. He is at his house, Arsenal is his home, and for sure he is happy and will be as happy as well if he stays and signs a new deal. Fair enough, that is not what Martinelli said then, but I understand the headline has to be done. Apparently, Arsenal are very happy with the signing of Jorginho, but will pursue another midfielder at the end of the season, according to Fabrizio Romano. In January, did try to get Caicedo. We have been linked with Declan Rice as well. Romano has specifically said Arsenal are very happy with Jorginho on the pitch, but also in the dressing room, he's had a great impact and they're very happy with him. I still believe that Arsenal want a new midfielder in the summer to help Mikel Arteta if they find the right opportunity, but Jorginho is a permanent signing and they're convinced it was an excellent deal. And once again, we have been linked with Caicedo, with Jude Bellingham, with Declan Rice. Some are more realistic than others, as you can obviously imagine and gather between yourselves, people. What is this saying? Christian Falk reveals Arsenal's interest in 325,000 a week by Munich ace. Arsenal were interested in Bayern Munich winger Serge Gnabry last summer before he signed a new contract at around 90 million euros. Bayern Munich don't appear happy with him or Leroy Sané, and you saw them both come off the bench yesterday. To be fair, Gnabry scored. So yeah, 19 million euros a year, 325 a week. He'd be one of our top earners, really. And with with Saka and Martinelli obviously signing new deals, why not, man? Really, it would make it a lot more mad, I guess. Whether a move for Gnabry will be revisited in the future, we'll have to wait and see. The 27-year-old has scored 12 goals and provided 11 assists in 34 appearances this season, and Bayern Munich is still onto him harsh, but he has been used as a substitute more often than not in the recent weeks. Nagelsmann has only started him 14 times in the league, and there's a chance he may seek to leave Bayern Munich for more first-team football. I just think Arsenal would leave that one alone, personally. We've seen this already. Let's see what these things are saying, people. Or is this going up to the top? Arsenal make approach to sign Borussia Dortmund midfielder Mohamed Dahoud. Arsenal are reportedly among the teams in the race to secure the services of the soon-to-be free agent Germany and Borussia Dortmund midfielder Mohamed Dahoud. The 27-year-old German midfielder will be a free agent at the end of the season, and the Bundesliga outfit have already confirmed they are not extending his deal. According to Sky Germany's Florian Plattenberg, Mikel Arteta's side have inquired about bringing the dynamic midfielder to the Premier League. Apparently, Dahoud is not short of offers, as several clubs have already expressed their interest in acquiring him: Leicester, AC Milan, Napoli, and Roma. So there's a lot for him to consider. We've spoken about Osimhen. Brighton and Nice are interested in signing Reiss Nelson. We've allegedly held talks with Real Madrid star and soon-to-be free agent Marco Asensio. Aston Villa have joined Juventus, Leicester, and Newcastle in the pursuit of Kieran Tierney. The Gunners are still interested in Moses Caicedo despite the new contract. Allegedly, apparently he's got a 90 million price tag. Is he necessarily worth that? I don't know. Is he worth more than Declan Rice? I don't know. Just playing devil's advocate. Arsenal are interested in Manuel Locatelli. Yeah, right. 3 additional Premier League clubs in Brentford, Crystal Palace, and West Ham are iron moves for Reiss Nelson, as you can see there. Fabrizio Romano has played down any links with Romeo Lavia. Us, as well as Manchester United, Liverpool, and City, have registered their interest in McAllister, who said he wants his next move to be in the Premier League. Declan Rice is very open to a move to the Emirates Stadium in the summer of 2023, so in a few months. We've been linked with Zaha on a free transfer. We've been linked with Julian Brandt. I don't think anyone believed the Lautaro Martinez rumours anyways, but he's quashed them. I don't believe Arsenal will sell Smith Rowe in the summer. So, yeah, there you have it, really and truly, folks, man. That seems to be the transfer news segment of this live stream. Bit of a slow news then. Really, it's not the moment or the right time to discuss transfers. McAllister would be lit, to be honest with you. What are you lot saying in the comments? McAllister would be lit. Gnabry looks finished. Bayern had Mane, Sane, Cancelo, Gnabry coming off the bench. We need to be ready for the Champions League if we make it next season. Leroy Sane is terrible now. So many Arsenal fans wanted to pay 70 million for him last summer. I don't think we're getting Gnabry back. Never say never. I'm 50-50 when it comes to Jota coming to Arsenal. Barella would be lit. I can't lie. Bringing Declan. When I saw Jota at Forest, I shouted to him, leave Arsenal alone, Jota. I take him still. I hear that. DG, what's your thoughts on Osman Cameron, the under-18s. Just saw a clip of him going viral on Twitter. Very decent player, and a few weeks ago was scoring some very decisive goals for the under-18s. I love the fact that Cess and Wilshere are coaching the 18s. Imagine being a midfielder in that team, the amount of gems you would get. There you have it. Do love Fab. I basically feel the same way as you towards it all. I hear that. Does Nelson start today or Fulham on Sunday? He's more likely to start today. The next 2 weeks, I won't be doing a stream with rants. That was terrible business from Arsenal. We ended up letting go of Ramsey anyways while he was at his peak. To be fair, we couldn't predict the future at the time. And I do understand what Wenger said. And I do understand if Wenger had any bad blood. But if it was up to me, Cesc Fabregas probably wouldn't have been a Premier League winner because Arsenal were probably not going to win it at the time. And he wouldn't have gone to Chelsea. Nelson probably starts at Fulham as well. I'm not too sure. DG, do we start strong or rotate a bit? I'd love to start strong, and I would also like to rotate a bit, but where? As much as I want Kyrgios to play, I don't want him to play for no reason. I don't really want to make wholesale changes because it's going to kill our balance. Fabio Vieira has very good technical ability. He should. You're bought to play for Arsenal as a 10 or an 8. You should have that. But doesn't have the aggression in his play. A lot of the diminutive guys from Portugal start like that. Whatever Bernardo Silva was taking, go and take that. I'm here with that, man. If Fabio can't have a good game against these men, I'll start to have serious doubts. Pardon me, woeful is harsh. I think he needs more time to flourish in that position. Going to have to earn it. I would take Sane because he's a quality player. I mean, I wouldn't say no to Sane or Gnabry, but when you consider the wages, the fees and everything, then I would probably move away from it. We have Balogun, no need for those Bayern bench bums. I'm sorry, Balogun. I love Balogun. But, you know, if there was an avenue to bring in for the right fee and the right prices, Sane, Mane, and Gnabry, which are all three different positions to Balogun, bite your arm off with that. Let's not overrate our players a bit now. As much as I like Balogun, let's not overdo it. Let's not overdo it. Forget all of that starting strong, folks. Prem is priority. Both can be priority, and you know, it's not set in stone. And to be honest, if this team wants to be a team that plays in the Champs and the Prem, you need to be able to do it. If we're in a must-win game like Spurs yesterday, you're going to play your strongest team and they're going to play on the weekend. I would love McAllister, Lavia at Arsenal this summer, same, but Eddie needs to take Fabio to his parents' house for dinner, give the young man some home-cooked jollof. I mean, Saka, Eddie, take it in days, really and truly. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, just you eating Ghanaian and Nigerian food. You know, I'm sure Portuguese, there must be some strong food there. He needs to eat some yam and that as well, man, and he'll be all right, man. Become a bit more tenacious as well. As I said, when I watched the game again against Bournemouth, I had to apologize because I think he played a lot better than I gave him credit. There were some good actions, but it's not just about good actions, I guess. So, yeah, man, in that regards. With that being said, though, people, we're finishing now, just short of 90 minutes. I'm going to take myself to the gym, and then I'll see you lot at 5:45 because we are going to be live, people, to watch this game together, people. Again, we're watching Sporting against Arsenal later today. Join me if you can, even if you can't, smash the like button as I've just suggested there. Hopefully this video, it should take you to the landing page of that. Did I set that? Yes, I did. First things first, I hope you lot are having a great week. I hope you and your loved ones are still in good health and remain in that. I appreciate all of you lot supporters, people that are supporters of the channel. Smash the like button. Let's keep boosting the YouTube algorithm. So yeah, man, one love for your talking points, for your banter, for your alternative opinions and whatnot. You lot make these live streams what they are. So you lot stay blessed, stay safe, and I'll see you lot in a few hours, really.
There's always just that active red flag defending. I think it's like there's always just that active red flag defending. I think it's like
Thank you.